So in this video, I'm going to be talking about what are you responsible for after you buy your piece of land or as a landowner. For the most part, the nice thing about vacant land is it is relatively maintenance free. So the things that you're responsible for, I think number one is making sure that you pay the property taxes every single year. So every year, depending, most counties, I think all counties will actually have property taxes that you have to pay every year for owning that property as the owner. So make sure that you pay those, because a lot of counties can actually foreclose and repossess the land. So that land will no longer be yours if you forget to pay your property taxes for long enough. So make sure you pay your property taxes. The second thing is, let's say your piece of land is in town, right? It's not like a rural piece of like vacant land in the middle of the desert. There's often going to be some kind of requirement from the city that you have to keep the grass trimmed or things like that. So find out from the city side if there's any like requirements that you need to keep your grass mowed and things like that. The next thing I would say is HOAs. So like if your property has a homeowners association, so if you're buying like a residential piece of land, there are HOA dues. So you have to pay the HOA every single year, just like how you pay your property taxes. Some HOAs might not have this, but it often doesn't hurt to check if you're buying residential land, if there's any HOA fees, and make sure you know what they are before you buy, because that is going to be a recurring cost that you have to pay every single year when buying vacant land. But separate from those three things, as far as like liability and insurance, that varies. This video is not for legal advice, so you probably want to talk to an insurance company to see if you need to insure your piece of vacant land for things like liability. In my personal opinion, my opinion only, is if your piece of land is like vacant and it's rural, there's not really that much of a chance that someone's gonna like trip on your piece of land, get injured, and then try to sue you. But maybe if you own a piece of land that you're planning on turning into like a parking lot, or you're developing on it, you do want to consider things like insurance. So other than that, there isn't really much that you're responsible for after you purchase your piece of land. Just make sure you keep paying your property taxes, and then you should be good to go. So those are a couple of things to consider, or some things you'd be responsible for after you purchase your piece of land.